Now let's talk about the what-if scenarios, because understanding the consequences makes the rules feel real. Penalties aren't just abstract numbers in a law book. They serve two purposes: punishment for negligence and incentive to invest in protection. First, financial penalties. These can be severe, and they are often tiered based on the seriousness of the failure. For example, under the UK GDPR, fines for serious breaches can reach up to 17.5 million or 4% of global annual turnover, whichever is higher. Bangladesh's new PDPO proposes fines up to BDT $2,000, and for the most serious offenses, even imprisonment. For a small or medium business, you don't need to hit those maximum numbers for a fine to be crippling. Even a penalty in the tens of thousands can be enough to shut a small business down. But financial penalties are only part of the story. Reputational damage is often far more destructive. A public fine, a public notice of non-compliance, or a headline about a data breach can destroy customer trust in a way that money alone cannot measure. Trust takes years to build and seconds to break. Once it's gone, customers don't come back. And that leads us to breach notification basics. This is a non-negotiable process in almost every modern data protection law. If a data breach occurs, for example, if a hacker accesses your customer email database, most laws require you to report it to the regulator, and you must do so within a strict time frame. Under GDPR, that's 72 hours, not 72 days, 72 hours. You may also need to inform the affected individuals themselves, especially if there is a high risk to their rights and freedoms. This is where having an incident response plan, the very thing you built in Module 5, becomes not just a good practice, but a compliance requirement. Your plan prepares you to act quickly, document thoroughly, and notify appropriately when the clock is ticking. Now here's the most powerful insight of this entire module: how frameworks support legal compliance. Think of this as your strategic shortcut. You do not need to build a separate, parallel compliance program from scratch. The cybersecurity frameworks you are already aligning with, NIST, CSF, ISO 27001, CIS controls, are specifically designed to meet these legal requirements. They are your compliance engine. Let's connect the dots. When you identified your digital assets back in Module 1, you were fulfilling the principles of data minimization and knowing what you need to protect. When you implemented strong passwords, multi-factor authentication, and reliable backups in Module 3, you were directly ensuring integrity and confidentiality, a core legal requirement. And when you built your detection and response plans in Modules 4 and 5, you were preparing yourself for breach notification obligations. You were building the muscle memory to act when the law requires you to act. Frameworks also provide something else that regulators love: structured evidence. ISO 27001, for example, requires documented policies and records. It requires you to write down what you do and keep proof that you do it. This documentation is the exact evidence you need to demonstrate accountability to a regulator. It shows that you have a systematic, thoughtful, and ongoing approach to security. Regulators look upon this very favorably. Finally, let's touch on a specific challenge in laws like the GDPR and PDPA, establishing a lawful basis for processing data. The most well-known basis is consent, asking someone's permission. But regulators and experts now encourage businesses not to over-rely on consent. Why? Because of something called consent fatigue. People get tired of clicking "I agree" on everything, and consent can be withdrawn at any time. Frameworks help you implement security for alternative, often more appropriate bases, like legitimate interests. This might apply to routine business operations like employee records, fraud prevention, or direct marketing to existing customers. By having a robust security framework in place, you can confidently rely on these alternative bases, knowing you have the controls to back them up.